Hi, Rio. Good morning. Or good
Can you hear
evening, I
me?
guess. Good evening to you. How are
Yes.
you?
Yeah, good. I'm pretty good. The it's
Wait, say that again. It got cut
so
off. Your voice went
okay.
away.
I'm going to leave in this week
Yeah,
for
I thought you were leaving
uh,
today. You're not leaving today?
oh no this week on Friday.
Hmm. Awesome.
So yeah, be running outside to um prepare everything I need.
Cool. For 2 weeks, right?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Oh man, that's exciting.
Yeah.
And are you basically going to work, but do you have time to like do other things
As
and have fun?
yeah, I'm planning to wear some Google or Facebook companies
Cool.
just for and the soundboard to make friends.
Cool. Nice.
Come on.
That'll be such a fun experience. It'll be so good for your English too, because you'll be practicing English all the time.
Right. So I'll be back to yeah so- to it's
Fantastic.
okay.
I saw a Japanese movie yesterday. I saw, um, oh my God, the famous studio, the anime studio. How do you? It's like begins with a G.
Ghibli.
Yes, yes. I saw the last movie they made. It was good.
Oh yeah, that's really famous. Yeah, I love it to watch that all the time.
This is it was about the airplane designer in Japan. Shido,
Ah,
Shido something. That's the one I saw last night. It's not very new, but it's new for here.
okay.
I think it came out last year in Japan, but it just came out here right now. It's called The Wind Rises. I think The Wind Rises. That was what it was called. Of course, I saw it in Spanish, but it was good.
It's okay. Ah,
Did you see this movie?
that I never seen that, but it's a famous. My watching that. Um, yeah, evaluate for
Oh,
that.
wait, hold on. Your sound quality is so bad today, Rio, that I can't hear you very well.
Really?
Yeah, it keeps being like
I'm just.
So I have.
I'm
Sometimes it's
just
good,
trying
sometimes
to.
it's not.
Okay.
Go ahead, go ahead. Repeat what you just said, because I couldn't catch it.
So a lot of Japanese higher
Uh huh.
about that movie.
But you haven't seen this movie.
I
That's the
hope
question.
you can hear me clearly.
I can hear you okay. I'm not sure if I'm understanding everything. Did you see this movie though?
Hello?
Did you see the movie?
Movie?
Yeah, did you see this movie, The Wind Rises?
No, no. I, I, I don't have a chance to watch. So, but I love movie of same director.
Uh-huh. Yeah. No, he made the director
Yeah,
has made the director made lots of good movies. He made Spirited Away. That's my favorite. That's one of my favorite movies. Spirited Away. So good, but it's so creepy. I'll write it. Spirited Away. This movie. So good. I saw it when I was a kid. That's his. I think that's one of his most famous movies. And then there's like the movie with the little rabbit. He has
Yeah.
a princess movie. Yeah, he's got lots of good movies. Good, but this
Yeah.
movie is.
Right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, but
Yeah. What your sound is really bad, or is my sound okay? Because you sound like a robot.
people.
Uh-oh.
You. Um.
Can you hear me?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hi.
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Because you sound like a robot, kind of.
Okay. Um. Now
I
it's
hope.
okay. It's fine.
Okay. I can hear you okay. So, what were you saying about this movie? Please complete your thoughts because I could barely understand you.
Yeah. Um. So the spiritual away.
Mm-hmm.
There are remember
What?
the parents of main character
Yes.
became pig on the movie.
Oh man, Rio, your sound is so bad. Rio, leave the Google Hangout and then come back.
Hmm.
Leave and then rejoin the Google Hangout because maybe that will help. I can't leave because I have a broadcast.
Okay.
Okay, so leave and come back and see if we can
Uh,
see if it's better.
uh, Me?
Yeah, you leave the Hangout and then
And
come back.
differently that.
Okay.
Hi.
All right.
Hi.
Hi. Hopefully that your sound is better now.
Ah, finally, got to hear that. So I wanted to my thought, like, the spiritual the way
Mm-hmm.
the movie. There are some theme about the parents of main characters, the
Yeah.
girl
Yeah.
became, and um, so there are a, the movie um,
Yeah.
reference uh, in Taiwan.
The movie's different in Taiwan?
I know, referenced.
Reference. Oh, that's supposed to be Taiwan?
Yeah, Taiwan's, yeah.
I always thought the parents were supposed to be Americans. Like Americans who can't stop eating. And he was like, don't worry, honey, we have lots of credit cards and cash.
Yeah. And yeah, just I attached link.
Oh, so that was what the little town is supposed to be, like Taiwan?
Yeah, right.
Cool. But it's true. The parents are supposed to be American, right? They're supposed to be like, what's wrong with America?
Uh,
I think so. I like really think so because they're huge and they turn into pigs. Like, and Americans are pigs, right?
right, exactly.
Isn't that the stereotype?
Mm.
Americans can't stop spending money and eating.
Yeah, sometimes wasting something.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah.
I know. Mm.
Cool. All right. I think that your sound is going a little bit better now. So let's do this. I have
Okay.
a challenging class, but it's good.
I'm
And
really excited.
I think you will really enjoy this. It kind of has to do with science. It's a very scientific class.
Okay.
But it's nice because since you're the only one, I can make you talk a lot.
Okay.
So let me ask some basic questions. How many times do you check your email account in a day?
Mostly I've checked them more than 10.
Okay, because it's on your phone?
Yeah, with phone. Check him. Yeah, 20 or very often.
Okay.
I'm checking.
Do you check it at all hours of the day? So in the morning, in the afternoon, late at night?
Yeah, I think at least I'm checking once a hour.
That's about right.
I'm sick. I'm sick.
No, this is really normal. I check my email way too late too. Do you think that there is a time where you probably shouldn't check your email because it's not necessary?
Yeah, sometimes think it's over checking for me. I don't think I don't think I need to necessarily check all the time. It can be more useful to spend
Yes.
my account.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, that's yeah.
So do you think because we have cell phones and we are always connected, people expect quick responses?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Right, exactly.
How about work? When you get anything from work late at night, are you expected to answer it or can you wait till the next morning?
Just depends, but I mostly hope to get in as soon as possible.
Yeah, good.
So yeah, I'm trying to check over and over again, but I'm trying to switch my brain.
Good. Good. All right. So how much time do you spend on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or any of that?
That's also once another, and I now stopped using Facebook because I'm really checking too much.
Ah.
It's influenced my working. So
Negatively, like it negatively influenced your working?
Yeah.
I said, hold on, let me write this to you. I said it negatively influenced your work.
Mm-hmm. yeah, it's well, I think sometimes useful, but it's also have cons, pros and cons.
Yes.
So yeah, it's have negatively influenced my work.
Yeah, because you're distracted, right?
Yes, right, exactly.
Oh, where is it? There it is.
Hmm?
Good. Okay, now this next question is strange but interesting.
Okay.
How often do you click on a link navigating away from the text that was the original object of your inquiry? This is
Mhm.
very complicated question, meaning when you're looking at a screen, do you
Mhm.
click on a link in that screen or an advertisement or something that opens another window and then you distracts you from the original window?
Yeah, I have often clicked advertisement, but I'm really, uh, yeah, I also often click other links.
Yeah,
So there are more than 30 or 40 tabs in
yeah.
my window all the time.
Oh, so you have 30 or 40 tabs in
So
your window.
that's one of the reasons I'm always um, crashing my PC. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
But does that, yeah, it makes your computer go so slow.
Yeah, so I'm sometimes using some tools for um, closing tabs, just one click.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's my problem so far.
good.
Mhm.
Good. All right. And how often do you use the internet while watching TV, talking to friends, reading a book, which seems insane to me? Read-
How long do I use
Yeah.
internet?
Well, how often is it common for you to use the internet and do something else at the same time?
Yes, exactly. Internet is part of my life. I'm always using internet. I can't imagine without internet. Yeah, I'm really concerned about Wi-Fi connections all the time when I go abroad, because I'm really worried about missing updated some informations.
While
So
you're in the United States?
yeah,
Wait,
so
why can you be updated when you're in the United States?
why I need to update?
No, but why can't you be? Why are you worried?
So far I'm just rendering a Wi-Fi for the
Right.
United States,
Okay.
so it can be, yeah, it works. But sometimes when I can't use Wi-Fi,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sometimes I I couldn't imagine what can I do for that time.
Yeah. You will. That's my life here. I don't have internet all the time here. I only have internet with Wi-Fi
Uh,
because I don't know. I'm mostly because I'm lazy
mhm,
and I have a really really terrible phone. I showed you my terrible phone last time.
mm,
And so I live off of Wi-Fi pretty well though. It's
mhm.
not too bad, and then it helps me concentrate on my work because when I'm at work, I can't have my internet. But the thing is, your job is the internet. My job is speaking person to
English.
person. Like I need
T.
to be focused in contact.
Yeah. Mhm.
So it's different. Um, do you think it's hard? I think this is a different question for you. Do you think
Mhm.
it's, I need to think of how I want to say the question.
Okay.
Do you think your situation is more dangerous for internet addiction
Uh,
because you don't really have to speak face to face with anybody?
oh yeah. It's sometimes problems because I used to work with my colleagues uh, remotely, that's went negatively at once.
Wait, why?
Because we used to be we used to meet in person, but we changed work styles online, and it's because actually you have something. We start to worrying about talking, meeting in person. We sometimes actually before working remotely, we can easily meet each other, but after that, sometimes we can we can't go outside to meet each other.
So this is where everybody's working remotely, and so there was no real. Well, everybody was lazy, really, to meet.
Yeah.
Because it was easier to chat or to connect online.
Yeah. So we forgot how to make relationships in person.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think that's well. And then I have something similar happens to me though, because my job is constantly speaking with people, which I love. I love that, and I work with people here face to face. I work with children face to face, but then I don't really feel like being social with my friends because I'm tired of talking. So on the weekends when people are like, let's do this, let's go out, I'm like, nah, I just want to watch TV.
Yeah,
because I have too much contact with people.
Right. That's your job. I know what you mean.
So I also get lazy, but because it's too much. So too little and too much, both are bad.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Let's look at this next part, which is really interesting. And also, the thing we're going to listen to today is about a study that was conducted at my university in New York.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I want to make okay. So we're going to go down here. So is the internet changing the way we think?
Yes, I think so.
And what do you think? In what way?
So we changed how to stay in the day. Before internet, we can't spend time only around with only around ourselves.
Right.
But after internet, we can access any information. So we don't need to go anywhere to get information or talk to someone.
Perfect.
So that's one of the revolutions for. Yeah.
Good. That's exactly
amazing.
what this is about. So you are perfect. It was a perfect episode. That's exactly what we're going to listen to today. About. Good. Hi, Anton. How are you?
Hello. I'm good.
Anton, I can't hear you. It's so quiet.
Whoa.
Can you try to speak again? Okay. Oh, wait a second. Could you hear him okay, Rio?
Yes.
You could hear him?
Quite And so far I can't, but
Yeah, I mean, like really, really, I heard him like really quiet.
yeah, quiet.
All right, well, while he's figuring that out, let's keep talking.
Okay.
So this next one, to what extent does spending a lot of time online shape our habits of mind? You kind of answered this second question. So let's move to the next one, since you already kind of answered that. Is constant use of electronic gadgets reshaping our brains and making our thinking shallower?
Shallower.
Do you know what that means?
No.
Shallow is like superficial. Oops.
Mhm.
Shallow is like superficial. So basically, we would say Kim Kardashian is shallow because
Uh,
it's only about appearance and what's on the outside. It has nothing to do with what's on the inside.
mhm.
Just about like looks and how somebody's beautiful. And so do you think the internet and our constant use of internet and having access to literally everything superficial, do you think it's making our brains more superficial?
Um, I think depends on how to use it, I think. Um,
Go ahead.
Actually, there are a lot of information on the internet. So sometimes we spelling, uh, we can just, I can say that, in this distracted the with the lot of things when we suffering on the internet.
Yeah.
So it can be superficial, shallow, but if we focus on something on the internet, it helps to learn, yeah, much deeper knowledge, I think.
Good. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a follow-up question to that. Superficial doesn't always have to mean like looks and beauty and stuff. It can also mean just having a very small amount of knowledge. For example, I have the habit, maybe the bad habit, is I go to maybe bbc.com
Mhm.
to look at the news. Do I read all the news? No, I read the titles of all the news.
Ah,
And that's all I read. I'll read like the titles and like a little sentence. I'll read all of them, and then I will think like, oh, I know what's happening in the world. But do I really know what's happening, or do I only have a superficial knowledge?
yeah, it's happening to us, I think.
We think we know more than we do sometimes, right?
Yeah.
This happens especially because you and I are about the same age. I think it really happens with our generation.
Yes.
Everybody thinks they know everything
Yeah.
because they have Google in their pocket.
Right, right. Really, yeah, easily.
And before you had the internet, so let's think back like when you were in high school, before you had any quick access,
Okay.
what would you do when you were with friends and somebody said something ridiculous and you said that's not true? What,
Um,
what would you do to resolve the conflict?
in person?
Yes,
Before. Okay.
before cell phone,
Before cell phone. Before
before
PC.
the popularity of cell phones.
Okay. I think uh, I need to talk to them in person,
Mm-hmm.
or just, yeah, I need to solve the problems in person. It can make close community.
Good. Or you would just, so say somebody said something like, the president of Japan in 1980 was
Mhm.
Rio. Okay, somebody says something ridiculous, right? Somebody says something that you think is incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
So you would probably argue with them, no, the president was this, and they would say, no, the president was this, and then the conversation would stop because you
Yes.
don't agree. What happens now if you have a disagreement about a fact?
So I can send the links, some references
Exactly.
to them. So yeah, everything is clear.
Everything's clear, and we know the answer very quickly.
Yes, yeah, there is all the time. It's a Google.
Google. Google's our best friend, exactly. So
Yeah.
do you think that this idea that we always run to the computer or run to our cell phone to find answers has made us into scattered thinkers?
Mhm.
Scattered thinkers. Do you know what a scattered thinker is?
I forgot the meaning of the scatter.
All right. Scatter is like when everything's kind of in disorder. So you're thinking about this, then you're thinking about this, and you cannot focus on one thing for
Uh,
1 minute. You're constantly like here, then here, then here, then here, then here, then here, then here. Like our brains are like tiny children, like a 2-year-old, just
yeah.
running and doing everything. Do you think the internet has made our brains
Mhm.
this way, or no?
Right. Exactly. Okay. So the so the internet became scatter.
That made our brains scattered.
Um, no. Let me see. Yeah, I think we changed how to think with internet. Before the internet, we have to know everything because um, we need to have to we need to explain by ourselves. But so far, we have Google, we have some references on the internet, so we don't need to explain everything.
Right.
So it can be um, scatter because only superficial information.
Yeah. Good. All right, Anton, I want to see if I can hear you now.
Yeah, I also want to see it.
I can hear you a
Can
little
you
bit
hear me?
better. Go ahead, go ahead. I want you, what is your opinion about this?
Well, about scattered thinkers,
Mhm.
I actually agree with that because um, we we know we have very many shallow knowledges about things, but
Mhm.
it's actually difficult to concentrate on something special well uh, when you surf through um, large amount of information.
Good.
But
Uh-huh.
in actually, when you develop yourself in some professional area, you concentrate um, on special knowledges, and I think it's that's the um, it's didn't touch the professional areas. It's only uh, it's only related uh, to everyday life.
Good. I think that's a good point. What do you think, Anton, about how the internet has affected our memory?
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you repeat, please?
Yes. How has the internet or, yeah, the internet, computers, cell phones, how have they affected our memory?
Well, actually, it that's all have bad influence on our memory, because when I was in school, for example, um, I must I had to remember all things, because I just had no opportunity to check out in the internet some statement or some some knowledge. But actually, well, internet, it's like memory in cloud. We
Exactly. We call
we
it memory.
have it in that way, because you actually don't remember anything, and sometimes you don't even try to remember something, because you know that you can ask Google, and Google get you right, give you an right answer.
Good. I think that's a good point. You said that now we don't remember things because we don't have to. We have Google. So first we'll start with Rio. Do you think this is a positive thing or a negative thing that now we count so much on Google?
I think, of course, there's the plus and the cons.
Go ahead. Mhm.
But I think there is a um, positive things, because so we don't need to uh, remember a lot of things because of Google.
Right.
So it helps to learn new things instead of something. So more uh, articulate
Hmm.
uh, articulate uh, thinking or some knowledge we can learn, and more some machinable, like only yeah, we can search on the internet easily. We don't need to think too much the things. We don't need to learn, or we don't need to uh, remember. So we can use more efficiency our knowledge over time, I think.
Good. I think that's a good theory. Anton, what do you think?
Well, I'm sorry, I wasn't here.
Oh, did you leave and then go? Oh, don't worry. What do you think that about that we use Google for all of our answers, so we don't remember things? Do you think this is good or bad, and why? Or good and bad?
Well, it, it has both sides, and good and bad in point of bad influence. It could be that we actually don't train our memory, and we became very mm, as it said before, scattered thinkers. But uh,
I think
on
it's
the
good.
other on the other hand, we actually have we can have access to uh, all knowledge we want to have, and it's actually uh, speed up our education, and
Good. I think
it's it's speed up the development of new technologies and
good.
things like that.
That's an interesting point. So it could be actually affecting us negatively in the long run, really, if we stop learning how to memorize. Okay, so we're going to listen to a small, it's actually very long, but we're going to listen only to a small portion of this radio show, this podcast. And I'm going to make this a little bigger. No. So we can read this. So, in a study reported in Science on 14 July 2011, Betsy Sparrow and her colleagues at Columbia University explored the question how the internet may be changing the way we access and remember information. Listen to the interview and choose the best answer for each question below. Now, I'm going to probably let you guys listen to this twice because she speaks very quickly. Like really very, very fast, because she is, you can tell she's quite nervous to give this interview, so she speaks quicker than normal. Mm. And so I'm going to give you the questions, but I don't want you to worry too much about the questions the first time. Let's make this smaller. But just to give you guys a little bit of preparation. What did Betsy want to find out watching an old movie? How did she get the information she wanted? What did Betsy and her husband talk about once they found the information? What is transactive memory? And why did Betsy design a series of experiments? So this is to give you an idea of what she's going to talk about. The first time we listen, don't worry too much about the questions, and then we'll listen again, and we'll try to answer these questions, okay? All right, you guys ready?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
3 years ago, a celebrated cover article in The Atlantic asked the question, is Google making us stupid? Since then, the internet's effects on memory and cognition have been hotly debated. A paper published online this week by Science suggests that the easy availability of internet search may indeed be changing our mental strategies for memory and recall, but in much the same way we've always relied on external networks of friends and colleagues as informal places to store information. The paper's lead author, Betsy Sparrow, talked with Stewart about the study from her office at Columbia University.
Well, it actually started out, I was sitting with my husband one night watching an old movie on Turner Classic Movies, and there was an actress in the movie, and I knew I had seen her before, but I couldn't remember where. I was watching TV with my laptop. So I just went on to IMDb and typed in the movie and looked up the actress and looked up what else she was in. And then my husband and I started talking about what did we used to do before we had either our smartphone in our hand or our laptop on our lap when we wanted to know something. And then we talked about how we used to go to other people who might know, or we used to have this book called The Video Dog, where we might look it up, but really we didn't know like where we used to find out things. Our guess was that we would just forget about it. And so I just went into work the next day and talked to my advisor, and he had this old idea about transactive memory, about how we have these external memory systems that are located in other people. And we know what they know in general, but we don't know specific things, so that we go to them when we want to know the answers to specific things. So, for example, if I wanted to know who was the last person who had 3,000 hits, I would go to my husband because he knows everything about baseball. So I know that he knows those things, and so I don't know them myself. I don't bother to remember them myself. The two questions I had was, do we think about the internet when we don't know the answers to questions? Is that just the automatic thing that comes to mind? So when we don't know something, do we want access to our computers? And then the second thing was whether we remembered the things that we looked up, or we just allowed them to continue to be a memory source or storage source for us. Did we look things up and then not particularly remember them because we knew we could always access them later?
So you were looking at the internet and whether it had essentially become one of these transactive memory sources that used to be represented by friends or groups or whatever. But you know, the internet has become so ubiquitous in our lives that it seems like it must be kind of difficult to tease out its effects relative to the effects of other factors. How do you go about setting up an experiment like this?
So, I mean, I did set it up so that it was a desktop experiment, but I set it up so that the type of thing that they were learning or that they were being asked about was the type of thing that you would look up online.
All right, I told you, she spoke really fast, and she's on the telephone, so it's like all very difficult, right? So this is how we're going to do this. We're going to listen one more time, and I want you guys to try to get these answers the best of your ability. And then we're going to look at her transcript of the words she actually said so you guys can see how quickly and how many words she's saying. And a lot of words she's saying aren't necessary at all, but just to help you guys look at her filler words and words that she says because she's kind of nervous. All right?
Well, let's find out watching means.
What?
The first question, what? I don't understand exactly. Find out watching.
Oh, well, this is basically when she was watching. How about that? Does that make it more clear? What did Betsy want to find out when she was watching an old movie?
Ah, yes.
That makes more sense? That's basically what it was. It's just shortened.
Okay.
Okay. Let me play it one more time.
"3 years ago, a celebrated cover article in The Atlantic asked the question, is Google making us stupid? Since then, the Internet's effects on memory and cognition have been hotly debated. A paper published online this week by Science suggests that the easy availability of Internet search may indeed be changing our mental strategies for memory and recall, but in much the same way we've always relied on external networks of friends and colleagues as informal places to store information. The paper's lead author, Betsy Sparrow, talked with Stewart about the study from her office at Columbia University.
Well, it actually started out, I was sitting with my husband one night watching an old movie on Turner Classic Movies, and there was an actress in the movie, and I knew I had seen her before, but I couldn't remember where. I was watching TV with my laptop. So I just went on to IMDb and typed in the movie and looked up the actress and looked up what else she was in. And then my husband and I started talking about what we used to do before we had either our smartphone in our hand or our laptop on our lap when we wanted to know something. And then we talked about how we used to go to other people who might know, or we used to have this book called The Video Dog, where we might look it up, but really we didn't know like where we used to find out things. Our guess was that we would just forget about it. And so I just went into work the next day and talked to my advisor, and he had this old idea about transactive memory, about how we have these external memory systems that are located in other people. And we know what they know in general, but we don't know specific things, so that we go to them when we want to know the answers to specific things. So, for example, if I wanted to know who was the last person who had 3,000 hits, I would go to my husband because he knows everything about baseball. So I know that he knows those things, and so I don't know them myself. I don't bother to remember them myself. The two questions I had was, do we think about the internet when we don't know the answers to questions? Is that just the automatic thing that comes to mind? So when we don't know something, do we want access to our computers? And then the second thing was whether we remembered the things that we looked up, or we just allowed them to continue to be a memory source or a storage source for us. Did we look things up and then not particularly remember them because we knew we could always access them later?
So you were looking at the internet and whether it had essentially become one of these transactive memory sources that used to be represented by friends or groups or whatever. But you know, the internet has become so ubiquitous in our lives that it seems like it must be kind of difficult to tease out its effects relative to the effects of other factors. How do you go about setting up an experiment like this?
So, I mean, I did set it up so that it was a desktop experiment, but I set it up so that the type of thing that they were learning or that they were being asked about was the type of thing that you would look up online.
Okay. So let's see what we can do. It's all right if you couldn't get all of them. These are kind of difficult.
It's difficult.
It's so difficult, right? It's hard. It's hard for even the most advanced learners, but I always think that it's better to do harder than you can handle too easy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. If you can't find the answer, I do have these questions in multiple choice, but I thought I would challenge you to see if you guys could find the answers yourselves. So let's try the first one. Could anybody find what did Betsy want to find out when she was watching an old movie?
She was watching TV on her laptop.
Yes. You
Yeah,
got that part.
I just heard that part.
Good. That's true. What you said is true, but that's where she was doing when she wanted to find out something. Anton, could you catch this?
No, I only remember that she said about some actress.
Good. She wanted to find an actress. That's it. That's the answer. She wanted to find the name of an actress. Good. All right. How did she get the information she wanted? This, you could just use your logic.
Smart porn.
Good. Where did she go? Where did she go on her smartphone? Well, where would you go if you want to find an actress or a movie? Where do you usually go?
Google.
Google, and then probably the website IMBD, which is where she went. She Googled it, and then she went to IMBD. Really hard to catch, so don't worry. Okay, next one. What did Betsy and her husband talk about once they found the information?
About transactive memory.
Good, good. So, what is transactive memory?
It's well, it's memory in cloud. It's what's no. It's knowledge of other people that don't know you.
It's knowledge of, wait, repeat that, because I think you're on the right track. It's knowledge of other people?
Yeah, it's knowledge of other people, but not our knowledge. It's because we just know some superficial information.
Really? You got it, you got it. You're saying it in so many words, but it's like knowledge of what other people know. For example, you guys, for me, if we don't have the internet, or if I don't use the internet, I know both of you work with computers, so if I have a computer question, I would probably ask one of you. If you guys wanted to know something about grammar or teaching English or teaching children or something, probably something you never want to know, you would ask me because I know it. So it's knowledge of what other people know, so you don't have to know it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Okay. So why did Betsy design a series of experiments? This again, try to use your logic.
I have no idea.
What do you think, Anton?
Well, if try to use my logic, then she well just out of interest maybe.
Well, she wanted to see what role Google plays in our lives. If Google is the new transactive memory. Which of course it is. Right? Right now, you don't, when you have a question, you don't go and find a person who probably knows it. You probably just Google it first. Is that correct?
Yeah.
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 All right, so now we're going to read the transcript because I want you guys to be able to hear and actually understand everything. So everybody go to this link. When you have it open, please tell me.
Science Magazine podcast.
You got it open, both of you?
Yep.
Okay, so you see on the first page where it says host Kerry Klein, it says music ends, host Kerry Klein.
Host Kelly Klein.
Okay, so that's where the podcast starts. So I'm going to play it again, and that's where she's going to start saying, 3 years ago, a celebrated cover article, da-da-da-da-da. Okay? And we're going to listen to the same thing. Here we go.
"3 years ago, a celebrated cover article in The Atlantic asked the question, is Google making us stupid? Since then, the Internet's effects on memory and cognition have been hotly debated. A paper published online this week by Science suggests that the easy availability of Internet search may indeed be changing our mental strategies for memory and recall, but in much the same way we've always relied on external networks of friends and colleagues as informal places to store information. The paper's lead author, Betsy Sparrow, talked with Stewart about the study from her office at Columbia University.
Well, it actually started out, I was sitting with my husband one night watching an old movie on Turner Classic Movies, and there was an actress in the movie, and I knew I had seen her before, but I couldn't remember where. I was watching TV with my laptop. So I just went on to IMDb and typed in the movie and looked up the actress and looked up what else she was in. And then my husband and I started talking about what did we used to do before we had either our smartphone in our hand or our laptop on our lap when we wanted to know something. And then we talked about how we used to sort other people who might know, or we used to have this book called The Video Dog. We might look it up, but really we didn't know like where we used to find out things. Our guess was that we would just forget about it. And so I just went into work the next day and talked to my advisor, and he had this old idea about transactive memory, about how we have these external memory systems that are located in other people. And we know what they know in general, but we don't know specific things, so that we go to them when we want to know the answers to specific things. So, for example, if I wanted to know who was the last person who had 3,000 hits, I would go to my husband because he knows everything about baseball. So I know that he knows those things, and so I don't know them myself. I don't bother to remember them myself. The two questions I had was, do we think about the Internet when we don't know the answers to questions? Is that just the automatic thing that comes to mind? So when we don't know something, do we want access to our computers? And then the second thing was whether we remember the things that we looked up, or we just allowed them to continue to be a memory source or a storage source for us. Did we look things up and then not particularly remember them because we knew we could always access them later?
So you were looking at the Internet and whether it had essentially become one of these transactive memory sources that used to be represented by friends or groups or whatever. But you know, the Internet has become so ubiquitous in our lives that it seems like it must be kind of difficult to tease out its effects relative to the effects of other factors. How do you go about setting up an experiment like this?
Could you guys catch more things now that you have the words in front of you?
Yeah, some words I couldn't understand, but it's much easier to understand with this text.
Good. How about you, Anton?
Well, actually, it's much easier to read than listen.
It's much easier with what? I couldn't catch that.
To read.
Yeah, I think exactly when you read it. So this is
because we actually read it, not listen.
So now I want to encourage you guys to use the website. You can go to the original website. I'll send it to you, where you can listen. Uh-oh, let me see. We send it here. You can go to the website here and you can listen to it. And I encourage you, if you want to take another 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes, to go through it again, listen to it again, just read it again. And, oh wait, I sent you the wrong thing. I want to send you the first page where you have the audio. Yes, this one. This is the audio. And this here, go through it, listen again, and then look up any words that you find difficult. None of these words are too difficult to find, I don't think, if you have Google. And this will help you guys remember some more words, and also be able to concentrate on something we've already talked about, so it's not totally difficult or out of your reach. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I used a lot of words to describe that. All right, guys, thank you for joining me and talking about Google as a best friend.
Mm-hmm.
I hope the class was useful, and I will see you all possibly tomorrow, maybe Wednesday.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Anton. Thanks, Rio. Have a wonderful afternoon and evening.
Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.
Bye.